Decimal multiplication. Okay, we have 33 times 2/10. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite that as 33 times 2/10. All right, I'm just going to multiply like normal. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 3 is 6. Now, my answer is not 66 because I have a decimal point and I have one number behind the decimal point. If I have one number behind the decimal point in my factors, I've got to have one number behind the decimal point in my product. So my decimal point will go right there. So if you look again, I've got one number behind the decimal in my factors, and I've got one number behind the decimal in my product. Okay, these two must match. All right, let's look at this one. So we got 2.56 times 6. Okay, 6 times 6 is 36. We'll carry our 3. 6 times 5 is 30, so it's 33. Carry the 3 again. 6 times 2 is 12, plus 3 is 15. Now, again, I know my answer is not 1,536 because in this case, I have 2 numbers behind that decimal. So if I have 2 numbers behind the decimal in my factors, I have to have 2 numbers behind the decimal in my product. Okay, so I've got 2 here, I have 0 here, so a total of 2, so I need 2 here, and I do have 2 here. So 15 and 36 hundredths. Okay, I have 5 times 3 is 15. I carry my 1. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 1 is 11. I bring down my 0. Okay, 1 times 23 is 23. All right, so I add those up. I get 5, 4, and 3. Again, I know my answer is not 345 because if I look up here, I have one number behind the decimal here, one number here, and that's a total of 2 numbers behind the decimal, or 2 place values behind the decimals. So I'll need that in my product. So again, I have 2 here. So 2 matches 2, 2 behind the decimal, 2 behind the decimal. So 2 and 3/10 times 1 and 5/10 equals 3 and 45 hundredths. So 1 times all of that would be 324. I'll bring down my 0. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 2 is 4. And 2 times 3 is 6. Okay, I'll add that up. 4, 0, carry my 1, 8, and 6. Okay, let's look at how many numbers are behind the decimal. I have 1, 2, and I have 1. So a total of 3 behind the decimal. So I need 3 behind the decimal in my product. So it goes right there. I have 1, 2, 3. 3 numbers behind the decimal, 3 place values behind the decimal. Okay, so 2 more. Okay, so I have 6/10 times 3/10. I'm going to rewrite that vertically. 6/10 times 3/10, although it's really not necessary. 6 times 3 is 18. Now, how many place values do we have? Well, we have 1 here and we have 1 here, so that's a total of 2. So in my product, I'll need 2 place values, 2 numbers behind the decimal. 1, 1, 2. So I have 2 here and I have 2 there. All right, let's look at this one. 23 and 14 hundredths times 4/10. Okay, so we got 4 times 4 is 16. We'll carry our 1. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1 is 5. 4 times 3 is 12. Carry our 1. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. Okay, and then I have 0, and 0 times anything is 0. Now, I have 1, 2 numbers behind the decimal there, and I have 1 number behind the decimal there. So I'll need 3 in my final answer. So my decimal point will go right there, and I have 3 numbers behind the decimal in my final product. I have 3 numbers behind the decimal in my factors. Okay, so 9 and 256 thousandths is the final answer. All right.